Well, it's nice to know there are two smart people left on the planet, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver and myself. Neither of us believe that Zaza Pachulia should be suspended or face a fine. And yesterday, the NBA made its ruling. Zaza will not be suspended and will not face a fine. I thought everybody overreacted to this. But here's what was interesting about the play where the bodies got tangled. Zaza fell on Westbrook. Westbrook winced. Zaza's clumsy, and people went nuts. In football, as fans and consumers, I include myself in that, we demand multiple angles. We want to see every angle. Then we want a ruling. In basketball, most of you weren't willing to look at a second angle. Looky here. Nick Young's foot on the back of Zaza's legs. Now, you can say, Colin, that wouldn't pull him down. But you know what that is in court, folks? That piece of video is the same in the NFL. It's called reasonable doubt. That's why in the NFL, when they call a play on the field, you have to have, they don't want to overturn it. You have to have clear evidence that the call was wrong. But the NBA went to the back angle. And though you can certainly make a valid argument, and you're probably right, that Nick Young's foot didn't pull down Zaza. But it should be noted that Zaza fell on his own teammate last year, Kevin Durant, and hurt him for multiple games. Zaza's a clumsy 7-footer, and that second angle was reasonable doubt. Why is it, as a consumer base, we demand multiple angles, but you weren't willing to give a second one with Zaza a look? Zaza fell on his own teammate last year. Colin, it was intentional. So was every one of Bill Lambeer's shots. The replays that leagues use for fines and suspensions. Remember, on the court, nothing was called. It was a bunch of bodies. To overturn that, you are going to have no reasonable doubt. And that foot on the back of the neck, we could freeze that. You can freeze that picture. That's the piece of clear evidence that got Zaza off the hook. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with me. You can think it's baloney. You don't have to buy into the dirty Zaza. I get it. But in football, you demand we use that. In basketball, you didn't want any part of it. That's what both the NFL and the NBA use. That piece of video, as they should. Reasonable doubt. Friend Nick Wright disagrees, sadly, on most things I say, and I know the first one he's going to be furious via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network from New York City. Host of First Things First. Okay, by the way, two brilliant people in America, myself and Adam Silver, both agree that Zaza shouldn't be fined or suspended. How does that sit with you, knowing that Adam Silver and myself are reasonable, and you're out in loony crazy territory?
It doesn't sit with me well at all, because you and Adam Silver are two of my favorite people in the world, and two people that are rarely so clearly on the wrong side of an issue. Colin, I know that it's been a long time since you were an elite athlete.
Yes.
However, I have seen the covers of your books, and you claim those aren't photoshopped. So I imagine that you know what it's like when you fall, how you fall, and that typically, even if someone hits the back of your knee and tips you forward, as happened to Zaza allegedly, the way you try to do it is brace your fall. The best way to brace your fall is not to aim your right hand at Russell Westbrook's crotch and your body at his ankles. Zaza is a skillless goon with no place in this league. The NBA decided they couldn't prove the intent, so they didn't fine or suspend him. The Warriors could have sat him, and they should have. And I heard you yesterday talking about it is okay for guys to worry when they go into the lane.
Love it.
It is okay. I agree with you, which is why a hard foul when a guy's trying to dunk on you is one thing. But waiting for a guy to be in his most vulnerable position, and flopping on top of him is totally different. I felt very different. I feel very different about a blindside block during an NFL play than what Gronk did to a prone, defenseless Tre'Davious White on the sideline. Zaza Pachulia has a history of going after MVP candidates at their most vulnerable. Kawhi Leonard on his way down. Russell Westbrook at midcourt last year. Russell Westbrook after the play 2 days ago. That is not an NBA move. That is not a basketball play. There is no place in the league for Zaza Pachulia. And I will say to the Warriors here what I said this morning. You got 2 MVPs. You got 73 wins. You got the greatest shooting backcourt ever. You've got the greatest stretch of regular season success in the history of the sport. Why do you need him? You're light years ahead. Remember, everybody? Joe Lacob, Bob Myers, Steve Kerr. You're smarter than everyone. You're faster than everyone. You're better shooting than everyone. You're better looking than everyone. Why do you need this goon? Why do you need Zaza Pachulia? Because he's 223rd in the NBA in points and you just can't make do without him? It is embarrassing to the league that the marquee franchise employs and encourages the single dirtiest player in the league.
Well, the Pistons did that a few times, and I like those guys.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.